subjective personality enthusiasts. So I'm continuing with my misunderstandings about the animal series. This is my third video where I'll be talking about some of the misunderstandings that commonly occur with the consume animal. So if you watched the previous two videos, you may remember that animals are the result of a combination of two human needs, a decider human need and a observer human need. So the consume animal is formed from OE plus DI. So OE is gather and DI is self. So consume is gathering for oneself. And the consume and the blast animals make up what's called the information animal coin. So blast would be the opposite of consume in that it's OI plus DE. So it's organizing OI for the tribe, which is DE. So consume would be like gathering information from the outside for oneself, and blast would be taking your known information and giving it out to the tribe. So what is consume exactly? So once again, it's gathering plus the self human needs. When those two human needs intersect with each other, you've got consume. Consume will take in and respect information before getting started and teaching it to others. Now, there are plenty of people with Savior consume that have no problem getting themselves started on tasks or teaching their information to others. But consume is responsible for wanting to take it in and respect it and kind of making sure that they got enough information, that they adequately understand it before going out there and teaching it or blasting it to others. It is responsible for taking in new information that their DI is interested in. So whether it be what they FI value or what works with their TI sense of logic or what works for them. Those with consume Savior tend to be bored with old information and they're seeking new things about whatever it is that they love to learn about. So what are some of the common misunderstandings about consume? So first of all, consume is not the same as gather. Sometimes people tend to use consume and gather interchangeably, but gather is really just one half of consume, because consume involves both the OE gather plus the DI self human needs. So you got to have both of those for it to be considered consume, because you can also have play animal, and play also involves gather, but it's gathering for the tribe. It's not gathering for oneself. So if somebody's gathering, you got to ask, are they doing it for themselves, for their DI, or are they doing it for their DE? Consume is not liking to read or consume media. Okay, this is probably my biggest pet peeve is, people will say, I love to read. I must be Savior consume. Or the opposite, I hate reading. I have it as a demon. And consume is not liking to read, okay? Get that out of your mind. It's also not liking to consume media. I mean, virtually everybody has some kind of media that they like to consume. It may be different for people. Some people like to binge on Netflix. Maybe somebody else likes to go to Spotify and listen to music playlists. Somebody else likes video games. but most people have some kind of media that they like to consume, regardless of where consume is in their animal stack. So what you want to look for is when you are taking in information from like books or websites or media, how are you taking it in? Are you really looking for new? Or is it kind of, this is already in my OI box and I'm just kind of taking it in and I'm kind of verifying if it fits in my box, and I got to take it in and quickly organize it, and I don't want anything, too different because that's just chaos. And yeah, so how are you doing it? Are you really, how willing are you to actually take in something new? And also, are you responsible personally to take this in? Like, those with consume savior feel an obligation to do this. Whereas somebody that's not savior consume, yeah, they may enjoy consuming media or reading, but it's kind of more passive. It's not that they necessarily feel a personal responsibility towards it in the way that a savior consume would. Consume willingly takes in everything like a sponge. Yeah, there's a common misunderstanding that consume will just take in anything and everything, and they'll just read any book that's available or watch anything. And actually, savior consume can be quite selective about what they consume because it has to align with their DI function. Okay, do I FI value this? Or does this TI work for me? Is this logical to me? Does it make logical sense? And so if it's not meeting the needs of their DI, they may be reluctant to consume it. So they can actually be quite picky. And this is intensified, even more if that consume is masculine, if those functions in the consume animal happen to be masculine functions. And, those with savior blast, they can be selective about what they take in as well, but it's kind of more for a different reason. It's more about, I don't want to take in the new, the unfamiliar, it's not in my box, I'm introducing new chaos in, then I gotta organize it and I gotta update my understanding, and that's stressful to do. Or like, it may be, if they're savior DE and demon DI, they might not be as in touch with their DI function, like what their DI prefers, and they may be taking stuff in because the tribe recommended that they do so. Consume understands and remembers everything that it takes in. No. Once again, is it appealing to their DI? I mean, because, in general, people are going to have an easier time taking things in, if it's aligned with their DI. Okay? And also, modalities matter. So, like, let's say you're reading some article and it's got a lot of facts and stuff. Well, somebody that has masculine sensory is going to have an advantage there, kind of remembering or recalling it. And somebody with feminine sensory, even if they also have savior consume, it may be harder to hold on to those facts. And also, consume is more than just learning information from books or media. It seems like when we talk about the consume animal, that tends to be the first thing that comes to mind is reading books or watching videos. And I mean, consume can also just be taking things in that you like from the sensory world, especially, if SE is in that consume. What physical objects do I like? What clothing do I like? I like this clothing, I'm going to buy it. I like that car. I love how it looks, or I think it works really well. I'm going to buy that car. Or just having a collection of physical objects. So there's that kind of consume as well, and I think sometimes that kind of consume is kind of overlooked. So hopefully that helps you understand the consume animal better. And if you like this video, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, hit that bell button for notifications, and stay tuned for my fourth and final video in this series where I talk about the blast animal and some of the misunderstandings about that. Yup, I am saving the blast for last. Have a good day. Goodbye.